Oh, yes, and good evening to you. And welcome to Politics 101 Friday evening. Please share the link and let everyone know that we're on. Welcome to all of you who are joining us. Some little dancing there from Belgium on the West Bobis. West Bobis there on Emancipation Day. And we saw a lot of the culture being shared there on Emancipation Day. And we are going to be sharing some of those from time to time, getting you caught up in what took place during Emancipation. Emancipation. Let's see. I think this is at Hope Park. Yes, that was a little bit of opening, the opening of Soiree there in Hope Town, the old time band, the old time boomba band, as they used to call it, masquerade band, old time band, rah band, um, with the saxophone and the kittle stick and the drums and so on, playing one of my all-time favorites, the Adora Darling. Don't you wake me for the morning, Adora Darling. Don't you wake me for the morning. Don't you wake me for the morning, girl. Don't wake me for the morning, Adora Darling. Don't you wake me for the morning. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Our thing, the culture of our people. Adora, darling, don't you wake me for the morning. Don't wake me for the morning. Me go give you gold and diamond. Me go give you pearl and ruby. Adora, darling, don't you wake me for the morning. Me go give you gold and diamond, me go give you pearl and ruby. Don't wake me for the morning, girl. Don't be. Ay, 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 ay. All right, all right, all right, all right. Good evening to all of you. Welcome to Politics 101 tonight. We're gonna be opening up the phones tonight so that you can have your say. The phone number is on the screen there. Is it 633-1924? Call us via WhatsApp and get in on the conversation. As I said, this is Emancipation Week, Emancipation Month, and lots of activities around the country in the African Guyanese communities, and lots of discussions around what happened. As you know, members of the government sought to impose themselves on these uh, emancipation observances, um, part of the domination and so forth. But from what we are hearing across the country, people had a good time, and the issue of what is the meaning of emancipation, what is the meaning of emancipation, really came through this emancipation, largely because of the changed circumstances in Guyana. We have been saying over and over here on the program that, well, whatever we say about Guyana, Guyana is a changed place. It's a changed place, whether we like it or not. We are now perhaps the richest country in the world per capita, and that is for real. It is whether that translates into wealth for the people of Guyana. That is the central question. And that is the central question that was raised this year, emancipation. And the question is that where do African people stand in all of this? All of this, given the enormous wealth that is coming into the country, the question is how is that wealth being distributed? The general consensus is that it is not being distributed across the board because we still have 50% of our people who live below the poverty line, live on $5 US or less per day. That is the reality. The vision of the government is perhaps no vision. The government is investing in a lot of infrastructure, but it is not investing in the people. as far as the distribution of resources for the people is concerned. It's about giving little handouts here, a little big handouts among their supporters. And we know of no country that was developed based on handouts and infrastructure. We have no problems, no objection to infrastructural development, no objections to building better roads, better bridges. We have absolutely no objection to that. But we feel that going hand in hand, you have to invest in people so that their material lives are improved. And there is where the government is found wanting. And there is where we are emphasizing the fastest growing economy in the world, rich economy. Look at the violence in our country. Is there any investment in measures to curb the violence? Only last night, the famous educator Olato Sam was killed apparently by a stray bullet. Look at the number of deaths on the roadways. I'm wondering, the 4-lane highways and all these highways, is there a plan that as you broaden the highways, is there a plan for the safety of the people in the communities along the roadway? Old people still have to cross that road. It's now very difficult to cross a 2-lane highway. Drivers don't respect street lights and pedestrian crossings. That is not development. Education. What is the state of education? 1% of our children who write our exams do excellent. 90% fall away. We reward those who do well and forget those who don't do so well. Where are we going as a nation, as a society that is being called a highly developed society? We are no longer categorized as an underdeveloped economy. Development is not just infrastructural development. That is only part of development. What is the outcome? What are the outcomes of these infrastructural projects? How do they impact the lady in the villages, the village? How do they impact the ordinary man, the ordinary woman? How do they impact the young people who still are unemployed or underemployed? Development is not a piecemeal construct. Ultimately, development is about development of people. I went to South Africa shortly after apartheid ended. Oh my God, the infrastructure in that country, out of this world. But there was apartheid. When you went into the townships in Johannesburg, people were living in little tin shacks. The South African economy during apartheid was one of the richest economies in the world. But the vast majority of its people, the African peoples, the black people of South Africa, they lived in abject poverty. So all this talk about development is really small talk, because development is not a piecemeal thing. Good evening to all of you, and welcome to Politics 101. I've already told some of y'all people who come on this program and make trouble, I'm going to block you all and block you all permanently. I've been very, very lenient, but it's getting out of hand. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to Politics 101. We are going to be opening the line shortly. 633-1924. Please call us via WhatsApp and share your views on the issues of the day. Some of the issues arising out of emancipation, where the development of Guyana from an African Guyanese standpoint was raised. Where do African Guyanese figure in? How do they figure in to all this talk about development? I have advanced the thesis that the first at the table should be those who are owed the most. Guyana, the state of Guyana, owes all its peoples. It owes the Amerindians because their land, the land they first occupied, was raped, taken away from them, turned into slave plantations. African Guyanese are owed. They worked those plantations for over 200 years, 200 years for nothing. Not a single cent, not a blind cent. East Indians and Chinese and Portuguese came later. East Indians toiled during the period of indentureship. They were paid little. Africans toiled during that period of post-emancipation. They toiled for little. So they're owed for what they were not paid. The state of Guyana owes all its peoples. But the Africans who toiled for 2.5 centuries without pay are owed the most. They toiled for another 130-odd years until independence for little during the colonial period. Somebody's saying there's no sound. No sound, is that true? Somebody is WhatsApping me here to say there is no sound. If you're hearing me, just say you're hearing me, because somebody's saying there's no sound. Apparently, I'm being heard. It must be something. Sound is good. Sound is good. Sound is good. Sound is good. So there must be a little problem with your system. The sound is good. The song is good. They're still saying no sound. There's no sound on my TV. So there must be a problem with your TV there. Somebody saying loud and clear. So there must be a sound with your TV. Because we are being heard loud and clear. Yes. Yes, this person is saying there is no sound on her TV. I don't know how to figure that out. But yes. So African Guyanese are owed the most. The state can now afford. It can now afford to pay its debt. And African Guyanese are not asking for more than others, although they deserve more. They deserve the most. They're asking for an equal share. So we are advancing the thesis of equality, the principle of equality. And there's an argument that equality must take into consideration equity. That is because some groups are so far behind, they have to catch up with other groups. So any distribution must take into consideration the condition of people. I've argued on this program before that there must be equality of opportunity, but there must also be equality of condition. There cannot be equality of opportunity if there's not equality of condition. Because if your condition is worse than others, then it means your opportunities will be less than others if the playing field is equal. And so we have to begin to develop the condition of our people. We have to begin to develop the condition of our people. That is the first task. And we are saying that poverty is perhaps the worst legacy of slavery and colonialism. Poverty, economic poverty. And economic poverty, of course, leads to social poverty. And so, therefore, poverty alleviation must be on the front burner. I heard after the emancipation, of course, all the knives came out for us. Because, of course, the government and its friends are saying we are demanding everything. My reference to God was described as a reference to Black God. I made an argument that our universal God is responsible for what is in our seas and what is in our earth. And we accept the thesis that God is a fair God and that his blessings will be shared equally. I was told that I was raised betting because I was referencing a Black God and so inferring that all the resources should go to Black people. Somebody said to me, will we ever win? Will we ever win? We are demanding equality, equal distribution. We are not even demanding what we are owed, everything that we are owed. We are demanding equality. And we have always done so because we feel in a multi-ethnic society, all ethnic groups should be treated with equal respect and equal dignity. Because we assume that all of us are created equal, and the Constitution of Guyana affords us equality before the law. And so, our watchword is not superiority. Our watchword is equality. And one of the things that came out loud and clear this emancipation is that those in power would rather us be quiet, know our places. The fact that they tried to crash our observances, it is because they know that their presence would mean that our voices would be muted. Because of those who are in power around, it changes the atmosphere. So they wanted to come, impose themselves, and to muzzle us on our sacred day. You know, if the president is there, or the prime minister, or a minister of government, we are not going to be able to say what we want to say, dance how we want to dance, sing how we want to sing, because you are visitors. And so that is why we argue that on that day, leave us alone. Let us speak among ourselves, dance among ourselves, sing among ourselves. Leave us alone for one day. But no, you want to come to influence how we celebrate. We are in serious times. Serious times. Good evening to all of you. Welcome to the program tonight. Welcome to the program tonight. We are reflecting tonight on how we are going to move forward as a country. Because we are moving forward. Despite that we were shafted by Exxon via the contract, despite the small signing bonus, despite all of that, enormous wealth is still coming into Guyana, enough to make Guyana the richest country in the world per capita. The fastest growing economy in the world. Imagine if we had gotten a better deal from GCOM, what would have happened? But the story doesn't stop on the amount of money that we are getting. More importantly, is what is done with that money we are getting. And this is where the rubber hits the road. How are we distributing what we are getting? I am not saying here that we shouldn't fight for more. We shouldn't negotiate for more. I'm saying that as we fight and we negotiate for more, we must fight and negotiate at home for a more equitable distribution. The two struggles must be carried out together. As I've said over and over again, those who are fighting for a better contract, we are with you. But we also want you to fight for a better distribution, a more equal and equitable distribution. I love Brother Glenn Lal. I love what he's doing. But I don't hear Brother Glenn Lal talking about equal distribution. Brother Glenn Lal's case would be strengthened if he says, I'm fighting to get Exxon to give us more, and also fighting for poor people and black people and Amerindian people and East Indian people to get more. He's not saying that. Our party, the Working People's Alliance, has put a simple plan on the table. We are saying that governments will do what governments always do. Government will spend on infrastructure. They will spend on schools. They will spend on hospitals. But there are things that the government will not know about, will not care about. And those are things that the people in their day-to-day existence will know about and care about. And we have put a simple plan. We have said, take 10% of what you earn every year and divide that 10% equally among the households of Guyana. They say we have about 220,000 households. And we have done the math, Professor Thomas, and we have said at our peak, we should be able to give our people the equivalent of 5,000 US dollars, which is $1 million. If you were to start to do those cash transfers next year, it may not be 5,000. 10% of what we are taking may not be 5,000. But it will be something that you give to the people directly for them to invest in themselves. You can't go wrong. The government is investing indirectly in people, and people are investing directly in themselves. They're saying the opposition has no plan. And we are saying we have put a plan on the table. A plan that involves people investing in themselves. We have also said that if we were in government or had anything to do with government, or if the government, the present government, would listen to us, the WPI is saying we need a national oil company which will be in the market on behalf of Guyanese. It will bid for oil blocks, just like Exxon. It will help to determine the price in the market, just like Exxon. A national oil company owned by the people of Guyana will be in the market on behalf of the people of Guyana. Right now, the people who are representing Guyana is the government. The government cannot bid for an oil block because it is the government is running the auction. But if we had a Guyanese oil company owned by the people of Guyana, that oil company can bid for an oil block. So Guyanese people will not just be getting the dividends from oil from Exxon. We will also directly own oil blocks through a national oil company. You all listen to me tonight, because they say that we don't have a plan. So we will be drawing down our dividends from the external investors. And we will be drawing down dividends from what our own oil company will own in the oil sector. They say we don't have a plan. But I'm advancing the plan of the WPA here. We are saying take part of the money and invest it in other areas of the economy where we have comparative advantage. We are an agricultural country. Lots of land. Invest more in agriculture. Grow the agriculture sector. If there is demand for fruits and vegetables from Guyana, the demand will drive more people in that area of the economy to participate. We are also saying take part of the money and invest it in renewable energy. Invest it in solar energy. We are anticipating that oil will eventually run out, or the world will move away from oil. And we must be in front of the market by investing in the new energy sources. Put some of that money to research and development. We are saying don't just invest in school buildings. We are saying invest in education. Not just school buildings. Invest in education. A school building is just a part of education. You don't measure education by the buildings. You measure education by the children you put in those buildings and whether their skill level is being improved or not. We have money now to have state-of-the-art classrooms. The more comfortable children are, the more and the better they learn. We need a proper feeding program in our schools. We need more improved technology in our classrooms. And I'm saying classrooms because we have to move away from these blackboards separating classes and build schools with self-contained rooms, classrooms. Invest in education, not just school buildings. Our teachers need to be paid better wages so that we will attract our top graduates to the teaching profession. That the teaching profession wouldn't be something that you go to because you can't find another job. The teaching profession should be something our young people want to go to because the satisfaction in educating the nation is great. But more importantly, you earn a living wage. Better teachers. I noticed the ministry said that, well, all teachers will have to be certified. Fair enough. But you could be certifying poor teachers in the first place. If people who are not really oriented towards teaching, going to teaching, you will be certifying people who don't have an interest in teaching. We need immediately a state of emergency in our education system. If you get education right, everything else you get right. Because it is out of your education system that comes your doctors, your lawyers, your teachers, your mechanics, your businessmen and women. If they come out of an elevated education system, they will become better businessmen, better businesswomen, better nurses, better teachers, better mechanics, better carpenters, better lawyers. We must invest in education, not just school buildings. The Working People's Alliance is saying the investment in education cannot wait for the next election. It is not how well the top 1% does. It is about how well every child does. Yes, every child is not going to be in the top 10%, 90 to 100. There are going to be some A students and there are going to be some B students. But we will strive to ensure that our education system brings out the best out of our latent potential. Yes, we need scientists. Yes, we need STEM education. And yes, we need our creative artists. Young African Guyanese, they're into dance and music. Invest in academies of the arts, the creative arts. I played earlier a young lady, 11, 12 years old, at Belladrum. Oh my God, she got up and she started to dance. And I asked her, are you a professional dancer? She said, no. I said, where you learn to dance? She shrugged her shoulder. She said, I just dance. And if we were to invest in youngsters like that, who are natural dancers, invest in them in dancing academies, that she doesn't have to leave West Bobis to come to Georgetown to go to a dance school, that there's a dance school right there in West Bobis, that harness those dancing skills of the young people in that region. And we create a product that we can sell to ourselves and sell to tourists when they come in, so that we're not just doing ecotourism, we are also doing cultural tourism. The tourists can come and go to West Bobis and see dancers. I think somebody is calling here. Hello? 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 We not. Are you there? Well, the person is connecting. Yeah. The person is connecting. The connection seems to be bad. Yes. Invest in the arts. All those young people who go to parties and are dancing and singing, invest in them. Invest in them. Hello? Hello?
Good evening, Doctor. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am.
Hello? Doctor, I just want to work on this evening.
Yes, go ahead. Your connection is bad, brother. We are hearing you, but your connection is bad. Yes, the connection is bad. All those are things that we need to straighten. We have a lot of money. Those are things we need to straighten. So we are saying, invest in people. Invest in people. Invest in education, not school buildings alone. Education. We have the crisis of nurses leaving to go abroad. Why are you telling me that we are developing when our nurses are leaving? People are running away from development? No, people don't run away from development. People run towards development. It means that if people are running away, it means that there is no development. It means that there is no development. Hello? Yes? Hello? The connection is bad, brother. You keep getting all kind of buffering. The connection is bad. Yes. People do not run away from development. So if people are running away, it means that there is no real development. We have growth without development. The fastest growing economy in the world. Growth does not mean development. Growth is the potential for development. That growth has to be guided by a vision. What do you want? What do you want? That is what we're talking about. And so we cannot have a government that is running around the place. Hello? Hello? I'm hearing myself, which means you have your device on. Hello? Yes, this person is determined, but he's not getting through because his connection is bad. He's not getting through because the connection is bad. Hello, you're on to Politics 101.
Yeah, sorry about it earlier. Hello?
Yes.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes, I'm just calling to make a contribution.
Go ahead.
I'm just calling to make a contribution to the program this evening. Now you touch on a lot of issues that facing our society today. You have you touched on the oil contract. You touched on the emancipation event. But let me take this time to respond to that emancipation event and members of the installed regime trying to pluck themselves into our African society so as to gain favoritism and votes. Firstly, I don't know if I never spoke at length about my situation, but I must put it to the public. I used to be employed with the state, working at the official residence of the Prime Minister of Guyana. I started working here since in Nagamotu's time, and my contribution to the upliftment of that particular residence was immense. When I tell you immense, Dr. Hines, hello.
Yes,
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am. We are hearing you.
Hello?
Yes, we are hearing you. Go right ahead. Continue.
It's muted.
We are hearing you. Yes, the caller seems to be getting some issues there. He began to talk about working at the Prime Minister's office and doing tremendous work there. But he seems to be having some technical problems. Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry about this. This seems to be, I keep getting muted, but to continue, yes. To deal with the emancipation issue, I think we as African Guyanese, it is time enough that I think we talk too much. Guyana is moving at a fast pace, and everybody other than Black Guyanese is benefiting from the wealth of Guyana, and it is time that we put our shoulder to the wheel. I would give it all if tomorrow morning we are to organize a mass protest throughout Guyana. I keep advocating for this all the while. The Buxton and Grove and Ithaca and Agricola, Dartmouth, Queenstown. Why don't we all come out and mount a week or 2 weeks of protest, pull our resources together, and deal with this regime? Because hello.
Yes,
hello?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Yes, because I'm asking myself a question. Why is it that we have to sit and take this? Why is it that we have to sit and take this? We are Guyanese, and moreover, we are the foundation of Guyana. You know what I mean? We came from all parts of Africa. Our forefathers worked and laid the infrastructure of this nation. When you look at Merriman's Mall, the trenches, all the major trenches, canals in the city of Georgetown were dug by slaves. And today, Guyana is reaping wealth, insurmountable wealth. And Guyanese, Black Guyanese, is gaining nothing. We are gaining nothing, and we are quiet. So I'm putting to you, Dr. Hines, and I'm putting it to the public out here. Let us pool our resources together. I'm calling for 2 weeks of mass protest throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. This should not be hard. This should not be hard for us to do. This should not be hard for us to do. Ithaca comes out. the entire Barbados area, all our African people in the Barbados area, pull your resources in whichever village you are, come out and protest. In Georgetown, everybody in Georgetown, you come out in your numbers. On the Essequibo coast, you come out. Linden, the same thing. It doesn't matter whatever form the protest will take, just come out and do it. Because let me tell you something. If we allow this period to pass, we'll be in trouble. We're heading for slavery again. We're already tipping the beginning of slavery. We're already in it again. So are we going to allow 5 years or 2 more years to pass with this installed regime? Are we going to sit back and take this? I'm totally upbeat because I'm telling you, I myself had a thing with this regime. They fired me. They fired me because they perceived me to be an APNU AFC supporter. I started working at the official residence of the Prime Minister. And Dr. Hines, I spent days and night of bringing that place up to a standard. And do you know, that same man who tried to speak at Buxton the other night, find it fit to fire me for no reason whatsoever. When I see Dr. Irons, I'm going to show you the letter and I'm going to publish it and let the public see. For no reason whatsoever. I spent months in bringing that place up. And today I'm without a job. Just because they perceive me to be an APNU AFC supporter and that I'm a black man. Must we sit and take this? This is serious business. Dr. Hyman, I dare say to you, I'm at a point where I don't care what happened. I'm saying it again. I do not care what happened. I'm going to bring everything out because they have put me up against the wall. Now I have no means of warning from nowhere. I did not steal or anything just because I'm a black man and I'm an APNU AFC supporter. So I'm saying to you, every time that you see that man, know that he's evil. And I don't care whatever come after. Okay? Thank you very much for allowing me this time on your program. And I'm calling on all Guyanese. Let us band our hands together and let us pool our resources together. And I'm calling for 2 weeks of mass protest throughout Guyana, all the black villages. If you have grievances, if you have any grievances, and all African villages in Guyana have grievances. The other day I went to Dartmouth, and you should see the condition of Dartmouth. They wouldn't even install the new mayor of Linden because he's APNU here. So what are we waiting for? 2 weeks of mass protest throughout Guyana, and let's see if they're going to still continue with this nonsense. I speak with no fear of anyone, because the position that I'm in is better for me to die than live with this.
Okay.
I make myself clear.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Politics 101.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I think the value on the caller side, they need to turn up a bit. I'm hearing you, but it's low when we do call in, but we're hearing you loud and clear.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to give my piece that I'd like to say that I'm so grateful that we could be able to have a chance to call in on your program, because your program is one that is being so enlightening to Guyanese, and especially African Guyanese, black people, you know. And because of we recognize is that you doing this, you know, it's causing some shiver in those who don't want to see equality and equitable balance, you know, in our country, because, you know, these that feel so is made up of the 1%, of who is raping, and using up the money for themselves. So I'm so grateful that we got a chance that we could be able to come on Politics 101 and give our piece. What I recognize is that we when it comes to the challenges of the PPP, once giving them the challenges, it's not so strong, because we do have a very strong opposition. What I feel that is weak, a bit weak in the opposition, is the direct leadership. I'm speaking of the leader, because if you check the members in the opposition, the MPs in the opposition, we have some real warriors there. But I think our leader need to be a little more stronger. Need to be more stronger, because if you check, is that we always saying that we got to. There's a saying that we got to work with our leader and so on. It's fine, but then we got to realize that our leader got to give us something to work with that we could be able to follow, because leadership set by the example. And I feel that if our leader be more strong and stand up, it would give those who is leading more strength to make him look strong, and make the real system work. So once again, I really like to thank you so much for allowing us to be on air on Politics 101, and I trust that it continue, that we could be able to share our views, because Politics 101 is one such enlightening program that we really appreciate. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming on and sharing. And we hope that we'll be able to do this more often. Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. It's so great. I'm so grateful, and it's so wonderful and so meaningful to us. And this is something that I was looking forward for a very long time, and I guess a lot of people was looking forward for the same thing, that we could be able to come in and talk, because the other programs, they are very good, but you as an elder, as a big brother to us, as a father to us, were able to you were able to share, and you were able to go in the depths and really give us the heads up on the way forward, and the encouragement to hold as a people and as Black people. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello? Hello, you're on to Politics 101.
Hello, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Just a minute, my phone giving me problem here. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yes, good evening to you and all my Black brothers and sisters. This is Flash Garden, first time calling in. Let me say something to that caller and remind him something about politics. Martin Luther King was not a politician. He was not in no party like Aboriginal party. But when at least I will assume, when he already knew, so someone called him, what happened to a Black sister that she was being arrested because she did not want to give up her seat. When the white men tell her, go to the back, she represents her identity and whatever she believes, she represents. Martin Luther King looked to his family. He began a little kids, and he said, enough is enough. Somebody have a take stand. To my Black one who just calling, let me don't wait for our leader Abinati. Come on, you, all of y'all could go outside there. Is everybody feeling the pain? And this is our problem today. We
truth. And we represent the story like dog and the bone. Stop looking for someone for help. You have your family. You and your family feeling pain. And the first call, right? It is time for everybody shut the country down. The teachers union and the nurse union, them is 2-1. They're playing with black people. Happiness is there. Because so many things happening and both of them cannot come together. They have to call the opposition leader and say, hey, or they go outside their force and the opposition leader will take a stand. The opposition leader cannot do it. My brother Abinat cannot do it alone. Right now, they got so many MPs there fighting him and giving him baths for fresh water. Come on, let me start focus on Abinat. Yes, he's a leader. But we have to remember Abinat is not the one who was in charge of the 47 boxes and see what come out and give up keys. We should rally behind Abinat and stop tearing him down. Before I go, the 2020 election, is the supporters them for PPP come out and demand Granger must give a recount. Is them do all the things there. Why we cannot do the things like them now? And tell the police, if you hurt us by protest, remember you have to work the night or the day and leave a family home. Stop that, because the Bible said you live by the soul, you will perish by the soul. You hurt black people, children, you expect black people to hurt you children back too. I don't want to pick up your time, but all of Flash Garden saying tonight, it is time for we shut the country down, interrupt the oil business. We must always tell ourselves, Flash Garden always saying these words, when we black people love these words, unity, support, and if black, one of four peoples, our forebears slave and build and left, why the hell we must exclude the language? Why the hell we must allow the Indians them to come and do that nonsense to us? You have a good weekend, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller dear. Very impassioned calls here tonight. People, of course, are expressing their views. And it's good to hear from you. It's good to hear from you. And I do promise we'll do this more often. We'll take a couple more calls. We'll take a few more calls. And then, because I know we don't want to drag it out all night, but we'll take a couple more calls from those who really, here I think we have one here. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Politics 101. Hello.
Yes, good evening, Dr. Hines. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Great. Yes. Good evening to everyone in the Guyanese diaspora. I'm hearing a buzzing sound there.
Yes, somebody's calling the rec, and the usual story. If you call the rec, it interrupts the WhatsApp calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I think you're having a fine program. I think there is a huge opportunity to reach out and have a broader reach to the people. I think you should make this a more frequent occurrence. You spoke about the issue of reparations. And I think reparations is more so topical now. It's more so on the agenda, on the front burner now. I was pleased to hear that some element of the PPP party had went to the General Assembly of the United Nations and they had raised the issue of reparations and the justice that can flow from reparations. I am hearing you talking about reparations. I heard Comrade Norton spoke in the church about restoration and equity. He did that a few days ago over the past weekend in an interfaith conference. So was talking about reparations earlier in the week on another program, and I think reparations is overdue. I also think that the churches, and this is not, I'm not forcing the churches to do this. The churches must see that a central theme of Christianity is premised on reparations. And I had spoken about God wanting to redeem the world from sin. And that's why he gave his only begotten son in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And I was saying to Christian people, particularly elders and pastors, that there should be some effort made to address emancipation and address emancipation as a process. And part of that process of emancipating ourselves as Christian people arrives at a position where repatriation becomes necessary, a necessary part, a necessary phase of emancipation. President Granger spoke about freeing ourselves from mental slavery, and part of that emancipation of ourselves from mental slavery has to do with the process which flows ultimately into reparations. So reparations and emancipation are one in the same. One begins the process of emancipation, and one facilitates emancipation with things such as atonement, reconciliation, and reparations. I don't think we can go to Parliament and ask Parliament or the National Assembly about reparations if the Christian ministers in the coalition, I'm talking about the Christian parliamentarians, don't quite see that reparations is a very Christian theme. This is something, reparations hasn't been pushed, even with a one-seat majority. And President Granger, a steadfast Christian, should have at least used the one-seat majority to facilitate reparations. It would have been a beautiful thing because, look, Irfan Ali went to the United Nations and spoke about reparative justice. So it seems as though this is something that is overdue. Americans are getting their reparations on the issues of land, right? And I think that the COI, the Commission on Ancestral, Communal, and Indigenous Lands, that President Granger brought into existence in 2017, has a large role to play in repairing the damage and compensating the loss of land. So I'm glad that President Granger this past week in the Village Voice spoke about emancipation and touches on a lot of the issues which we need to address. Lastly, sir, very quickly, the first caller who said he was working for the Prime Minister's office and the second caller raised the issue of a disconnect. There seems to be a disconnect between new leadership and the people. It seems as though we gave them a mandate, but they're not quite carrying out the mandate of the people. And Dr. Hines, that's a serious matter. That's a very, very serious matter, Dr. Hines, because ultimately, political leaders, if they don't do what the people are asking, they will be replaced. I can tell you that much. This is a very, very serious matter. And I know a lot of political leaders don't believe what Kofi is saying, what I can tell you. There will come a time where if political leaders continue to drag their feet and to be so indifferent to the mandate which we voted for, we'll remove you. God or the universal force has his hands on things right now. And that's why you're seeing a lot of leaders are being allowed to do what they're doing and get away with what they're getting away with. It is by the grace of the universal order that a lot of people are getting away. And they may call it, well, we are doing what our executive board says to do. That's grace. For people who believe in spirituality, you are being given grace. And there'll come a time when there'll be no more grace. This is not an insult or a threat. This is just what history shows. The Bible shows it. God gave those in the Bible a time to stop doing what they were doing. He said, build the ark. Noah, build it. He said, 2 of each kind on the boat. After the time runs up, close the doors. And drown them all. So I'm saying this in a very prophetic sense, in a very spiritual sense. That we need, and I noticed Comrade Norton said just last week, that we can't depend on him alone to do everything. I agree with you, Comrade Norton. We can't depend upon you alone to do everything. But Comrade, I think the people are asking you for some constitutional support. If you can reach our way and says, we are standing to defend impunity and violations against our Constitution, the people want a mandate, Comrade. They want marching orders. Yes. Premised upon protecting the Constitution.
Well, all right, Brother Kofi.
So hopefully, Comrade. Yes, sir.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
Yes, sir. So hopefully, Comrade Norton, we understand we've got to carry our weight. But Comrade Norton, you have the constitutional mandate, and you've got to meet us halfway. We're not worried about whether we're going to be in the right. We are defending the Constitution from impunity and violations. We are already in the right when we stand to defend the Constitution. But Comrade Norton, you have the constitutional position to reach us halfway. And that's what we're not getting from you, your comrade. So understand, we hear you. The time is at hand.
All right.
To protect the Constitution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much, Kofi, for coming through and
thank you, sir.
And expressing your view. We are moving on. I know that people have been eager to have the open phones and to have their views expressed, and quite a few of you have been trying to get through. We're going to try to do this much more often, and so that those of you who were not able to come through tonight would be able to get an opportunity when we open the phones. Tomorrow night, we are going to be talking to Professor Clive Thomas about all things economics. As you know, they have increased the debt ceiling. What does that mean as the government tries to borrow more? We'll talk to Professor Thomas about what that means. Is the government doing the right thing? What that means for us, us Guyanese, We're going to be talking to him about that, and we'll continue to talk about the WPS economic plan, because we have to fight with a plan in hand. So, Professor Thomas, tomorrow night, as we talk all things economics, what does this increase of the debt ceiling mean? Is the government on the right track economically? What about all this investment in infrastructure? What does it mean? Tomorrow night, the professor is going to be here. So please make sure that you drop by tomorrow. And again, thank all of you. Those of you who couldn't get through tonight, we are going to open the phones again at least one day next week, perhaps more than one day next week. And so you will get a chance to contribute. Until tomorrow, when Professor Clive Thomas comes here, I want to say, as usual, love is always flowing from this corner. Thank you.